Stuart McMinn, what a pleasure it was. Thank you so much for guiding us through the Parramatta Parklands this morning for the inaugural Wellbeing welcome event put on by the Parramatta Chamber of Commerce and Gone Bush Adventures. It was absolutely delightful having you here this morning, such an intimate group as well, and I feel as though we've all come away with such a intimate and really heartfelt connection with Aboriginal culture, but also Aboriginal perspectives that are just so relevant to life in the community, in business and in leadership, which, as you pointed out, almost everyone in the audience is in various capacities. So I just thought it'd be nice to sum up for everyone that was here, and maybe for those who weren't here, just to touch again on a couple of those concepts or themes that you shared this morning. Yep. And I thought, well, being around impact and leadership, probably the first one to talk about would be the Ngurrumpaa that you talked us through. And would you like to really briefly recap what that's about, and I guess the linkage you see between that Aboriginal concept of Ngurrumpaa and everyday leadership and life?
Definitely. First of all, thanks to Gone Bush Adventures and the Chamber of Commerce for having me. It's been amazing. But yeah, Ngurrumpaa really is that concept of, just like when we throw a stone into the river, it ripples out. Our Ngurrumpaa can be lots of different things. It can be anything that's part of the universe, but boil right down to our individual Ngurrumpaa and how that relates to our leadership style and also our own well-being. Really focuses on us being in the centre and being conscious of the impacts that we're having on others that we're leading or that are under our leadership, but also the examples we're setting through our own well-being and our own personal growth. So it's a really beautiful concept, and it can entail so much more than that. But in a nutshell, it's really about that constant thought around the impacts that our Ngurrumpaa is having on others, and what ripple effect we're having on the people around us.
Yeah, and I think that prompted a lot of longer term thinking as well, people making comments and realizations around behaviours actually having long reaching ripple impacts and across time as well. And we talked about some of the ripple impacts of major events like colonisation that are still felt today, 200 years plus down the line. And I guess that is such an important reminder to be more aware of in each moment, the impact you're having on those around you, and then how their impact is going to ripple out as well. And then I guess looking at yourself as part of a much bigger system, which I think was another great part about the nature immersion aspect of today. I think also in terms of how you kicked it off with a traditional smoking ceremony, but also just that grounding, which I thought was so important. Do you think there's a lesson in that for the business community?
100%. Taking a moment to be mindful, to ground yourself before any major decision is massively important. It doesn't take much to actually ground yourself and really plant yourself before you move forward in any direction. And I often find that when you do, you can sit in your intuition a bit more, and sit in a place where you feel that you're actually going to make a positive move forward rather than a reactionary one. You get to actually really respond after you take that moment to ground yourself. So I think practices like yoga or smoking ceremonies, or even just walking around the park for a moment, is actually going to really ground you, enable you to make some really healthy business decisions as well.
Stu, the last one, and I thought you might want to put this as a question to the audience watching this video, but it was around the concepts of 10 out of 10s, which you introduced at the end of the session, which I guess was all around gratitude and keeping things into perspective and mindset. But if you'd like to just close on 10 out of 10s and put a challenge out there to try and help others embody this concept in their lives.
Definitely. So always the Gone Bush Adventure challenge is about having 10 out of 10 moments. And if we focus on 10 out of 10 moments, there are always those little moments, those little wins that we have throughout the day that make us feel really good. And if you add those up, by the end of the day, you're going to have a 10 out of 10 day. So I will challenge everyone back at Commerce and anyone else watching this video to kind of focus on your 10 out of 10 moments throughout the day, and maybe share them, you know, make them contagious for other people in the office, but also back in your homes. So hopefully you can take up that challenge, and hopefully you have a 10 out of 10 day as well.
Thank you again, my brother.
Anytime, brother.
Absolute pleasure. Love it. Sweet as.